Welcome back live. We continue right here with the nightly sports call. We're going to have high school football scores you see on the bottom of your Bordas and Bordas ticker, and we'll have all the scores and as many highlights as we could fit in with a shoehorn coming up tonight at 11 on KDKA-TV. So in the meantime, we take your calls. Anything goes. Pitt will take on Syracuse tomorrow. They're 3.5-point underdogs, and quite frankly, Syracuse has a really good quarterback in Mr. Dungy, who's capable of doing some things. He has 7 touchdown passes this year, 7 rushing touchdowns, and last year, you know, remember Syracuse put 61 points on the Panthers, and so certainly that's got to change. It's a big game for Pitt after a win last week against Rice. Let's go out to the lines. We begin with George and Manessa. What's up, George? How you doing?
Good, Bob. How are you? Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. You too.
Hey, I have a quick question and then a comment. Do you think Ben was right by calling him out on his radio show rather than doing it?
Sometimes you have to go public to make the, you could do it internally, and if it keeps happening again, maybe he felt that was the best way to do it. He was asked, he was asked about the situation, and his response was calling him out in the answer, and I think Antonio Brown understood that, so we'll see how it goes from here, and hopefully we won't see anything like that again. And quite frankly, I appreciate his passion for the game, Antonio Brown, but I think in that case it's just unnecessary. You got to understand the other side, and he made this point himself today, George, where he said, I've run some bad patterns, and Ben didn't throw me under the bus for that, or I didn't call, and so it goes both ways. It's a little diva-ish quality, but hopefully we won't see too much of that.
Okay, and then my question is, do you think, because last year Bryant was out, and we didn't have Schuster, and it seems like he had to be more the main guy, Brown, because we didn't have the better second and third receivers. Do you think Brown's a little frustrated this year because now we have Schuster, now we have Bryant, and he's still the main guy, but doesn't have to be? I
don't know. He's second in the NFL in receiving yards. So I mean, it's not like Ben Roethlisberger's not looked in his direction. In fact, if anything, Roethlisberger. Thanks for the call, George. He admits he looks too much to Antonio Brown. So, yeah, it's good to spread it all around. And, Antonio Brown, like all players, wants the football. I don't find that to be a bad trait. It's just the way you conduct it. You can't be throwing Gatorade coolers. You can't be yanking Todd Haley away from you. That just looks like a spoiled kid. And I think that's what, probably Antonio apologized more than anything else. Let's go to line 2. That's John and Green Tree.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guy. How you doing today, man? How you doing? What's up, man? I want to ask you a question. Do you think the Steelers can beat the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday? And if they can you give me a score? Thank you.
I think this is going to be a good game, but I do think the Steelers will prevail. They're at home. I expect them to win all their games, and that includes New England. So I'm looking at that game, and I think if they run the ball the way they can, it's going to set up some passing down the field. I expect to see Roethlisberger with 2 to 3 touchdown passes in this game, even though their number one thing will be trying to run the ball. And I think their defense is good enough to stop Leonard Fournette. So I look for the Steelers to win this one, something like 31-14 over Jacksonville, and they will move to 4-1 and 2-0 at home. All right, we got Jerry in Hempfield. Jerry, welcome to the Sports Call. How are you today?
Hi, Bob. I want to ask your opinion. A lot of people were saying that the Penguins have a good and excellent chance to get back to the Stanley Cup because of what the players they had last year again. But my thing is, if they don't make it for some chance, I think it'll be because of the goaltending. If Murray gets hurt, the backup, you think he'll be able to carry the Penguins until Murray gets back, depending how long he is? Because I don't know about this here backup, for a long haul with the teams they're going to play. So if they don't make it, I think it'll be because of the
I think a lot of people may agree with that if it's a long-term injury to Murray because he's the guy that they've chosen to be their next leader. And by the way, Marc-Andre Fleury is playing tonight, and he's been outstanding for Vegas, who has no offense. It's 1-0. Dallas leads the game, and Fleury, without him in there, it could be 6-0. So, but I think, Antti Niemi has a very good resume. He's won a Stanley Cup. Not many backups can claim that. He's not had a good year last year. They still signed him, and maybe they got a break in the salary because of that. A $700,000 was well worth that. But, the other night, I don't know that you can blame him for the first 2 goals. I thought they were great plays by Chicago and bad plays by Pittsburgh. I don't think any goaltender is going to deny Patrick Kane on that pass to Ryan Hartman. It was a beauty. But, it's only 2 games. I'm not willing to do it. But I also think if Tristan Jarry is what we think he is, that he may be the long-term answer if there's a long-term injury to Matt Murray, and I don't think we're going to see one of those, but a lot of people believe he's going to be a very solid NHL goaltender, so that's good to know as well. Let's go out to Bill in Munhall. Bill, welcome to the Sports Call.
Yeah, Rob, I just wanted to say that it looks like Matt Murray's back up to his Michael Jackson impression. You know, he has a glove on one hand for no apparent reason. You know,
Yeah, come on. It's just one. What are you going to do? It's 2 games.
I know.
The guy's won 2 Stanley Cups and already after 2 games.
He's a heck of a goaltender. I'm just saying he's got a slow glove hand.
Well, I mean, let's go out to Amy in Evansburg. What's up, Amy? How you doing?
Hi. I'm calling. I'm asking. I have 2 questions about the Penguins.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jory, the one goaltender, he's in Wilkes-Barre right now.
Right.
I was curious as to how far out he is to start to back up Murray. And my next question is, I was listening the other night about this defenseman that they had picked up. He's like 24 years old.
Yeah.
He's
Pedon.
6'5", 224.
Right. He's more of a fighter. Yeah, he's a guy who's big physical. Totally opposite of what they have mostly on their team.
It is. How far out is he from like starting on the ice with the rest of the team?
You know, I think it's a while away there. I think he's in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Frankie Corrado's another guy that Jim Rutherford acquired last year, and he's there as well. They're trying to load up and take their time in developing some of these guys. So I would not look for him to be up anytime soon. I also think, to your answer of Tristan Jarry, you know, he's capable of being an everyday goaltender, but they don't want it to be right now. The reason he's down there is because they want him to play every single game and be that #1 goaltender, just like Matt Murray was down in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton before he got the chance here. So they're good with Murray and Niemi, unless Niemi totally falters and they have to make a move, but I wouldn't expect that.
Okay, so you don't see him starting like this season?
No.
You think? I understand.
Not at all.
Okay, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Let's go out to Oil City. We got John. Hey, John, how you?
Bob, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Just a couple quick comments and one question.
All right.
Steelers are going to win by a last-second field goal. Last few seconds. Penguins will improve. I miss Marc-Andre. And the main question I have is, do you think Nick Folk even deserves to have a job right now?
Well, you know, he had a pretty good year last year. One of the reasons why Tampa was interested, he had 27 to 31, I think, and you know, he's been around for a long time, but he's in a slump. He's missed 5, I think, of his last 7. He missed 3 yesterday. He missed 2 the last weekend. You can't keep doing that. So there are a lot of kickers out there, as we've seen. And if somebody doesn't get the job done, I would not be surprised if they made it. In fact, I am surprised that if they were going to make a move, they didn't do it today. But they have an extended week since that was a Thursday night game. So they may make a move, and it may be this weekend. Who knows?
All right, we'll see.
All right, thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Let's go to Brad in Punxsutawney. What's up, Brad?
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Quick question and then a quick comment. How much longer do you think Pitt maybe waits before they pull the red shirt off of Paris Ford? And I just got to make a chuckling comment. The 2 Penguins that seem to have people panic the most on are Murray and Phil Kessel, and since they've came to Pittsburgh, they've been there 2 years and they've won 2 Stanley Cups. So I would just be patient.
You're right.
The Penguins are going to be fine, and like I said, it doesn't matter what we're doing now; it's what we're doing in May and June. I'll hang up.
It's a long hockey season. That's one thing all I have to do, and Brad, you remember this, go back to the year of their first Stanley Cup in 2016 with this duo here, back-to-back years. It was anything but a Stanley Cup season in December when they had to make a coaching change. They brought up Mike Sullivan. In his first 4 games, they lost all 4 of them, you might recall. And at that point, people were saying, make trades, get rid of that. You can't have this 2-headed monster. Time to do blah, blah, blah. And it got better. And the next thing you know, they started to believe his system. They started winning. And the next thing you know, they win a Stanley Cup. And now it's back-to-back. So it is a long hockey season, and I would be patient. That's your message for the day. Mark DiStefano has a tweet at KD Pomp. It says, the weird thing is when the Pirates' Rodriguez had his Gatorade encounter, he became somewhat of a folk hero. Brown, different reaction. Well, because there are different circumstances, Mark. He was mad at himself, Sean Rodriguez. And he was mad at the way he had handled the situation. You know, so he just went boxing mode against that Gatorade. This was clearly from Antonio Brown because of Ben Roethlisberger not seeing him, which, again, he had to go through his reads. He didn't have the 6 eyes on the field. He couldn't have made that play because it looked like Weddle was in good position, and then Brown breaks free. By that point, it was too late. So this was more of a I'm mad at my quarterback versus I'm mad at myself, and that's why it was a difference. We're going to take a break. Don, Jim, Keith, and Maurice all coming up next right here on the Sports Call.